are going to hear from the phenomenal, fabulous, great, amazing, awesome, and all things beautiful, Shian. Is it Shian or Shihan?
Shian, yeah. You got it.
Shian Donovan. Woo, woo, woo.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for having me, and to everyone that's performed so far. It's been some amazing stuff tonight. So I'm just going to crack on and do a few pieces for you. So this first one I'm going to do, given the International Women's Day theme, is called Consuming Eve. And it's a piece about the way that sex workers are depicted in the media and their stories are consumed by society. So this is Consuming Eve. I think it needs to be discussed, how someone can incite disgust, simultaneously ignite desire. Some feel the need to light a fire and find a witch for that pyre. When confronted with their own lust to save themselves, they feel they must channel hate in the direction towards the object of their affection. For others, she creates excitement, not only of the sexual kind. You study her and feel enlightened when you hold her in your mind. Oh, how edgy we are, how open-minded, how on trend. Look at me, I've got a sex worker friend. Just don't let her too close. Who knows what you could catch? Something dangerous is posed within this particular bad batch. Indulge your fantasies of intellectual superiority. Voyeurism, tinged with pity, talk about her to sound witty. Cast off the cliches and open your eyes, expand your mind, expunge society's lies. The victim, the temptress, the slave, the slut, she could be almost anything but ordinary. She has to be other. She intrigues you, so long as it's not your daughter, your sister, your mother, your lover. A complete, complex human, same as everyone here. Because of how she makes money, there's only one way she'll appear. When you're a sex worker, soon you will find whatever else you might be by your work you're defined. Whether viewed as compliment or slur, in others' eyes it's the deciding factor. People will always want to explore, and her world is almost the stuff of folklore. Curiosity into a life so different is standard, and these urges we feel have to be pandered, but curiosity killed the cat, and what right do we have in fact to seek entertainment without giving respect? So perhaps these urges, they ought to be checked. We consume her life and call it culture, tearing at her stories like vultures. Someone's suffering becomes a hobby. It's a tale time and time again told. Her clients might feast on her body, but society feeds on her soul. Thank you, guys. So I'm going to jump straight on and do this next one, which is called A Liquid Love Affair. The first time I got pissed, I was 14 years old. It was the millennium and the cave had made me bold. Nowadays, everyone drinks Prosecco, wishing it was champagne, but back then it was cava, not Prosecco, that had its reign. At the street party, someone's mum kept topping up our plastic cups, proclaiming in between burps, "You're underage, but it's the millennium, so just this one sit'll be fine." And that night we really did party like it was 1999. Sitting on this wall down in these drinks kept us busy. And when I stood up, suddenly I felt dizzy. I turned to my friend and said, "Hey, there is something weird about that wall. When you get up from it, you feel like you're going to fall. It gives you this crazy rush. Oh man, that wall is lush." My friend looks at me and says with a wink, "I don't think it was the wall. Pretty sure it was the drink." So that was it. The first time I felt what it was like to be drunk. From then on, every glass I was handed, I sunk. No going back. Nothing could stop her. Took to it like a duck to water. Or maybe that should be a lamb to slaughter. Skip forward 10 years. Now I'm 24. I think people that don't drink are such bores. I style myself as the wild child, party animal queen. Every party going on, I'll be seen. I'm proud to drink grown men under the table, happy with my last man standing label. I claim as a Scot, I can handle my drink. Not only is it part of my personality, I think it's tied up with my cultural identity. A tradition. Doctors say to cut back, but we don't listen. How we socialize. Government says it's bad for us, but government's full of lies, cause I'm indestructible, insatiable, unstoppable. The feeling I get on a night out is untoppable. The adventures I've had, the stories to tell. I'll keep partying if it drags me to hell. Fast forward another decade. And that takes us up to today. Seems this lifestyle is here to stay. But at 34, not quite so cool. When I get blackout drunk, I feel like a fool. Waking up in the morning with no memory, only shame, and a mind overflowing with self-blame. What the hell happened and how did I get this bruise? Searching my bag, my phone, my body for clues, trying to analyze these scrapes and cuts, the walk of shame home followed by sniggers and tuts. I promise myself this will be the last time, and maybe for a few weeks, yeah, I'll be fine. But sooner or later, it's a promise I break. I go back to binge drinking as if it's my fate. I did a whole year teetotal. Then I got cocky. Thought my relationship with it had changed, but things soon became rocky. When I started again, old habits quickly came into play. And before I knew it, I was once more into the fray. Nothing's able to break addiction's ties. Because of alcohol, I've lost friends, been raped, been hospitalized. But despite all that, I still don't stop. When I fill my glass, I take it right to the top. No matter how many times I say it's under control now, I swear something always ends up dragging me right back there. If I was religious, this poem would be a prayer. Please, God, give me the strength to end this lifelong, liquid love affair. Thank you, guys. Woo! Cool. Now I'm going to do two more pieces for you. So this is my penultimate piece, and this is called Climbing the Family Tree. Just going to have a quick sip of water. I didn't go searching for a father because I needed one. The love I needed was gathered from my devoted mum. But an explorer, an adventurer, I will always be. So though it caused a stir, my temptation meant I had to see what was waiting when I climbed my own family tree. I was just satiating my curiosity. Growing up, my father wasn't ever there, but I wasn't bothered. Truth is, I didn't care. I had all the family I needed, just me and my mother. Then when I was older, along came a stepdad, sister, and brother. But throughout my younger years, my father would show up intermittently. When from the clutches of his addiction, he got a little free, turned up at the house at the end of his latest drug spree. I could tell where he'd been by the trail of spilt tea, stealing all the sweets from my Friday treat tin because he was in some kind of junkie binge thing. When I was older, I read a letter from him, apologizing for leaving used needles lying around, but my mum must have cleared them up quick because I don't think any I found. He stayed with us for a little bit, but he disappeared looking for his next hit. Didn't see him at all through my teenage years till I'm 17 and he reappears, saying in this world he hasn't got long left, like an aura around him, he can sense death. After that, again, we drift out of touch till in my mid-20s, I decided to look him up. I got his number from someone, but it came with a warning. They were glad I wanted to reach out, but felt I needed informing. In the years that had passed, he had deteriorated. I should know this, so if I see him, I won't be too deflated. But despite the heads up, when we met, I still got a shock. His long hair was matted into one single waist-length dirty dreadlock. In his gummy mouth, there wasn't a single tooth left. He slewed, stumped, slunched back, caved chest. The conversation was jilted, his voice was feeble. He felt the need to inform me he didn't have AIDS, he'd never shared needles. That was the last time I saw him alive, but it was awkward, just a polite goodbye. A few years later, I received a text written in third person, so it left me perplexed. When I asked who it was, the one and only spectacularly fucked up John, your dad, was the answer, and then something about asking my mum to look after his hamster. A few days later, he died. With his lifestyle, it's a surprise he's still been alive. At the funeral, he was described as a loved son, uncle, and brother. No mention of this illegitimate child born from a past lover. I met my family on that side for the first time, a whole other branch of the family tree to climb. Maybe it's strange, I'd never met them before, but apparently in my mum's face, they'd slammed the door when she turned up with the babe in arms. Their faces only showed alarm, panic at what the neighbors might say. Basically, they turned us away. But now, my aging granddad with the dead son is glad his offspring is left from someone. But then it suggested, maybe it's best, just to make sure, we take a DNA test. Apparently, it's just to have things official in writing, but here comes the plot twist, where things get exciting. I was only expecting to get one result, but when the test came back, that's not how it played out. The lack of DNA markers insinuated that me and this family, we weren't related. I called my mum because I had some questions. The paternity test had actually been her suggestion. When I told her the results, she sounded heartbroken. And through her tears, these words were spoken. Things had been tough between me and your dad, John, for a while. We've been breaking up. Things were really off and on. And during a split, yeah, I got with another. And then I found out I'm going to be a mother. I hoped it was John's, but in truth, I didn't know whose until you were born. And then I stopped being confused. When I held you in my arms, I thought I knew for sure who your dad was. It seemed a fair assumption that I had the answer because You looked so much more like John. I thought I was certain. I thought I couldn't be wrong. But these test results show I wasn't right. The thing is, the other guy was North African and you came out white. So apparently, my dad might be a French Algerian man, which is mental because I can barely even get a tan. What happened next was crazy but true. But to hear about that, you'll have to wait for part 2. So I'll end that one there. So yeah, that's the first part of the story. Lots more crazy stuff happened after that, but it's quite a long one, so I'll save that for a second one, which I've yet to write. Okay, thanks so much for listening, guys. I'm going to do my final piece for you now, and this is another one that's in theme with tonight's event. So this piece is called Faux Feminism, and I wrote it as a response to something that happened in 2019. This feminist group hired private detectives to go into strip clubs wearing hidden cameras and secretly film the women working there without their knowledge or consent. So I wrote this piece as a response to that, and it's called Faux Feminism. When did this movement get so divided? Seems a lot of you are pretty short-sighted. If your feminism isn't inclusive, I'd say you find the meaning of it a little elusive. So perhaps all of you TERFs and SWERFs should give the rest of us a pretty wide berth. You claim you're all about standing up for women's rights, but on that point, I'd like to pick a fight. Feminism should be about the freedom to choose. Under your policies, a lot of us lose. You want to ban the porn star martini, saying it normalizes porn? I mean, come on, really? But that's trivial. Unlike your latest scandal, this one pisses me off more than I can handle. Hidden cameras in strip clubs, secretly filming women getting undressed. Upskirting's now illegal, so where the fuck's your arrest? You can't call yourself feminist when you have sins to add to your list, like secretly filming women getting naked without their consent, women simply trying to pay their rent. Think of the violation you caused in the name of your cause. Who are you to justify using these women as collateral damage? How about some self-sacrifice rather than slaughtering someone else's dignity on your altar, shoving your small-minded beliefs down other women's throats till they choke, claiming you're woke? You're worse than any perverted prick in those establishments you hate so much, secretly filming your revenge porn, using another's body to your own ends, abusing another body for the message you send. Your feminism is disguised misogyny, controlling our sexuality. How dare you police my personal bodily autonomy? You think you're doing this for my own good? Don't be so rude, you patronizing parasite, thinking your opinions outweigh mine. Does my brain not work? Can I not think? I'll think you're under the table. Your minds are too small. You'll fall if you try to comprehend on all the life choices I make. You're entitled to stay prim and proper and boxed in, but don't you dare lock me in there too. You're toxic. You're so filled with hate for women who choose to take a different path to you. Can't you believe it's true? I might choose of my own volition this life I lead. You're so holier than now, coming in with your vows to help poor little ladies like me. You're so wrapped up in your own righteousness you can't see. We don't want your white knight rescue. I'm not trying to test you. Your type of feminism simply doesn't work for me or any of us. That don't fit nicely into your concept of what a woman should be. Stop trying to control other people's sexual identity. It's not grooming. I'm a grown fucking woman. My life choices are not your hobby. So you know what? Fuck your lobby. Keep your policies off my body. Cool. Thank you so much, guys. That's me. Thank you.